Here we go.
Brothers, sisters, siblings, welcome to Penn Sunday School starring Penn Gillette. My name is Michael Godot. Matt, Reddy Ridge, Penn, and I are broadcasting from our separate homes in Las Vegas. Penn wants to talk about a politically correct short story. Matt will review 2 episodes of Fool Us, and we'll tell you about plate spinning. Here he is, preaching love, Mr. Penn Gillette.
Yeah, preaching love. I'm here. I'm still out looking, because I put up a bird feeder. But the bird feeder's not in a tree. The bird feeder is hanging from a little thing about 4 feet off the ground, a little hungity thing. And it's got a special cap to keep out squirrels and to keep out grackles. And I have the cap way, way up, so squirrels and grackles are welcome.
Okay.
Because I like grackles. They're big and they're loud.
They are loud.
What's a grackle?
A grackle's like a kind of blackbird.
It's a blackbird with a long tail. They're boat-tailed grackles we have here in Vegas.
And they're very, very attractive. But they're very quarrelsome and they're very squawky. And many people don't like them if they're bird feeders. But I wanted a grackle-positive bird feeder. So I put my seeds and my cracked corn out. Last week, I had a horrible cracked corn accident where I got a little piece of cracked corn in my eye, which stayed for 2 days, irritating me.
Wow.
It was a horrible cracked corn incident.
Penn cracked corn, and I don't care.
I know you don't care, and that's what bothers me about you.
Yeah.
It's Jimmy, we don't care. Penn, we care. He's our boss.
So
Jimmy, fuck him.
I tossed some cracked corn and sunflower seeds onto the ground in order to lure the birds closer to the bird feeder. They began eating on the ground all around the bird feeder, but they have not hopped up. And I believe that shortly they will hop up and there will be a buffet for these wonderful birds. I'm also hoping that squirrels will spontaneously generate in order to come and destroy the bird feeder. But I've never seen a squirrel out these parts. I just said these parts with a great deal of sincerity, didn't I?
We've been kind of colloquial so far this show.
These parts.
We were worried about Jimmy cracking corn. Mm-hmm. We jumped down and we turned around at the beginning, just before the show started.
We did.
And now that.
They're not out there now, but maybe during the show one will hop up. But I have my father's binoculars, and I watch the birds hop around. I think bird watcher is supposed to mean someone who looks for different species of birds, right?
Or behavior.
They have a life list and they go around.
Sure.
I'm the kind of bird watcher that watches just 5 birds. Same 5 individual birds.
Just keep taking out the same book, checking off the same bird each time. Got it again.
Bob. Dave, Lucy.
You're a friend of birds. You're not a bird watcher. You're a friend of birds.
Yeah, but I'm hoping they'll just hop up to that beautiful buffet.
Yeah.
And when I bought the bird feeder, when I chose the bird feeder, my wife actually bought it. It has a cap on it, and I raised it way up because it says can keep grackles out, which really pissed me off. So that's what I've been doing. I've been looking out the window, looking at birds. But I want a lot to talk about. But first, because if we screw this up, it throws us all cattywampus for the whole show. So I want to start right away talking Fool Us, because we have 2 shows to talk about. And then Monday is the 27th is the debut of T-Taw 2.
Oh, right.
It'll be T-Taw 2 that we'll talk about. T-Taw is Try This at Home, T-Taw 2.
Have we figured out whether that's airing in conjunction with Fool Us or instead of Fool Us?
They did not tell me.
Those clever people.
So there might be T-Taw 2 and Fool Us, T-Taw 2 and FU2. But there might not be. It might be just T-Taw. I don't know. But T-Taw was very good. It went very well. And I've been told by those in the know that this T-Taw 2 is way better than T-Taw original.
Oh, cool. Well, T-Taw original was badass.
It was pretty good. I was pretty proud of it. T-Taw 2 is a lot better because we have a lot of people doing the tricks at home.
And then you have Ozzy Wind is in this one, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's supposed to be insane.
Ozzy Wind is insane.
Yeah.
Ozzy Wind's bit is insane. It is so good, it's crazy. And Howie Mandel. And,
cool.
We had, and also the cast of, Nancy Drew. Cast of Nancy Drew. And that went very well. Let's talk about, never mind all this talk of present and future. Let's talk about the past where we all want to live. What was going on with Fool Us?
Well, last week we briefly got in a chat about Miranda Allen doing her escape from a wine barrel with her friend.
Oh, that was so good. What's good about that is I've never heard a team in Magic talk about my friend is in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And that was so powerful that they played the friendship element. Teller and I make that thing implicit. But the fact that someone had made it explicit, I really loved. I just adored.
Yeah.
Well, Teller's drowned in your version, and you didn't give a damn.
That's right. That's right. So it is a change up from the Penn and Teller.
Little change, little switch up.
I'm not saying that if we played the friendship thing, I wouldn't have to act.
The Penn and Teller version of the trick ends with, so who wants wine?
But she was really good. Crazy good. Both of them were.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And then we had Iñaki Zabaleta, and he's from Argentina. He had a thing where he brought Allison over and did a card trick where he had basically made you guys select random cards, but end up showing that the cards without moving them created a straight with one person's selected cards, and then pointed to you. You had a different suit, and he had a straight in your suit, and the cards seemed to have not changed position at all. It was a really slick card trick. It was great. What was also great was that he had, I always do interview prep, and when I said, "Do you have any Magic Goes Wrong stories?" is one of my go-tos. He told me like a half hour of stories, and 2 of them made air, which I loved. First time he did a magic show, he thought he dazzled these kids, and they came up and stole all of his props and ran away. And then next story he told was about he was trying to do magic, and this dog just bit his leg and held on, and he couldn't get his dog off.
I bet the crowd loved both of those shows.
Exactly. But he was a really hilarious, really charming little Argentinian performer. He was great. Next up was a guy who fooled you guys.
God damn him to hell.
This is an interesting one. It was Keith Kong. And Keith Kong had Allison pick a song off of a list of different songs. Mm. And then they did that thing where you guys... He said that you guys sang this previously on your seasons, and then they cut all of the lyrics, all the words up. What's the word for that? But it's great. When you have all the words are selected and it adds up.
Collage.
An auto-tuned meme.
Auto-tuned meme of you singing Old MacDonald.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had a gift-wrapped item at the top of the trick, and he unwrapped it, and lo and behold, it was the record of you singing Old MacDonald in like a framed case, and he handed you the framed case.
Yeah, we had so much of that. But the part that he worked really, really hard on, and that was amazing, fooled us. It was exactly the way it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that he busted his ass on actually did fool us.
Oh, neat. Yeah,
which in many cases is not true. But what he built for that trick was a motherfucker.
Yeah. And I think it's not to get too technical, but I think fans of the show at this point would know kind of when you make references to the Force and what the word force means or whatever. Mm-hmm. It was very interesting to see this trick had many possible outcomes that would work. And I thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
And I did not think that was the case when I watched any of the versions in rehearsal or anything else. I just thought, oh, here we go. We'll just do that. And it's a very nice trick for television. And then Keith can feel good about himself. I did not expect him to walk away with a Foolish trophy.
But he did.
Yeah.
Because there's those who watch Fool Us know about forces. I would say a little learning is a dangerous thing. Drink deep or taste not. It was not a force.
And then Allison said the line that will win me an Emmy this year, which was Cock-a-Doodle Fool. And then that was really, I get a lot of flack for that one on Twitter. And I just want to say for this podcast is that I've been writing the same things, versions of the same lines for the show every year. And oftentimes I write lines that are just to make Andrew laugh, that there won't possibly ever make air. And when I wrote Cock-a-Doodle Fool on my list of possible fooler lines for Allison, I did not think he was going to take it, and he did. And then I thought Allison was going to strike me after she came backstage after she read it, and she didn't even bat an eyelash. She just kept going, and I was like, so this is going to go on television, just like it is. This is going to go on TV.
Fool.
Cock-a-Doodle Fool is on television. And so here it is. Here it is on television.
And might be our episode title.
I believe it is. Cock-a-Doodle Fool.
Then you had Guilherme Silveira. And he had you, Allison, Teller sit around the table, and he gave Allison a selection of finger puppets. He had Teller choose which die to roll, and had you choose from an array of crayons and the U.S. map to color in any particular state, and had sent you an email in advance of the start of this trick.
And that's where I colored Alabama pink.
No, you colored Massachusetts pink.
Right.
Yeah. Which I was like laughing because, a lot of times when magicians set up kind of like a red herring method, they'd be like, I've studied all of your habits. In this case, he didn't say that, but man, I bet all the money would have been on you coloring Massachusetts pink.
Yeah, that's true. Massachusetts pink.
Like, if I wanted to hedge my bet, I really wanted to take a risk. I think
the reason I said Alabama was because I said Massachusetts pink is an obscenity in Alabama.
That's right. Yeah.
That guy's Massachusetts pink.
Get out of here.
Get out of here, you Massachusetts pink. And that guy would have fooled us bad, except I'd happened to study that exact trick.
Yeah. I mean, when he did it in rehearsals, everybody just there's a lot of just people who work on the show in the room for rehearsals that aren't magic at all. And he first did it in rehearsal. Everybody was like, what just happened? And for me, what was unfair is having a modest magic background was I had to play you multiple times in a row in rehearsal, which gave me information on it just by running it through a few times. It's crazy. That's crazy.
Crazy good trick.
Yeah.
And, that's the luck of the draw. You would call that, if you had a bet, that would have been a fooler, but I happen to know all about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was curious about that. And then Teller, we did the Teller Talks motif here. The episode title was called Teller Talks, and is that that can't be a first, is it?
I think it kind of is.
Yeah, but you did the fun thing where he wrote all of the words, and you said what he wrote, and he teaches the French drop.
Yeah, that was a good bit, I think.
It was a fun bit. What was interesting to see it unfool us, when I saw it in your show, I loved it in your show because it was you put it about 3/4 of the way through, and in the theater, and seeing a full Penn and Teller show when people could do that, it really does feel like you get to know Teller. And I think that, and when it starts, you don't think that. And so we get this really warm, kind of a really nice burst of applause at the end in the theater. It was wonderful on television, but it was. I also just want to point out how neat it was to see it in its theatrical setting as well. It was a really neat piece.
That's one of those bits. If not for COVID, it would have been developing for months. It would be really hot and tight now.
Oh yeah, totally.
Now, when we are doing a list of the bad things from COVID, I don't want to pretend that's in the top. I mean, that's 4 or 5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Lack of vaccine.
142,000 American deaths.
Yeah.
We're going to ask that you please do not protest this particular.
Yeah, please do
Yeah,
that.
stay in your homes about this one. Black Lives Matter, the stormtroopers taking over cities, protest that. Don't worry about us not doing shows.
Tighten up the trick. Tighten up the trick. Tighten up the trick.
What do we want? Tight trick. When do we want it? Now. No. What do we want? Tight trick. When do we want it? Give them a few months to work on it. What do we want? Tight trick. When do we want it? Give them a few months to work on it. What do we want? Tight trick. When do we want it? Give them a few months to work on it. And then naked Athena out in front.
Indeed, you guys changed the ending right at the camera rehearsal right before we taped it. You guys messed with the ending and changed the ending a bit. And then the next episode, which just was the last Monday episode, you had Guy Bavley stop by. Do you remember Guy Bavley?
I don't.
He's an Israeli magician. He used to have a show at Caesars. Came out and did a routine, with a screen where he had Allison hold a broom. He knocked the broom over, and then he.
Oh yeah,
The PK expert.
Yeah, and he had Allison hold the balloon and did the phantom touch thing, and then the balloon burst at the end.
Yeah,
it was really nice, really clean thing, and the kind of thing he was so laid back that I wasn't. It was his experience showed because he was so comfortable on TV and his personality came right across, and it was really great. It seemed kind of like chill in the environment at the time we taped, but it came out really well on TV. Not a fooler. I don't think he came on to fool you.
that's the same guy that went on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and didn't want to be a millionaire either, right?
Yeah. Not me. I just want to hang with you guys.
No desire. I don't want to be a millionaire. I'm very, very happy living right at my station. I don't need to live above my station. I don't need to be a millionaire. I love answering questions. I love the company. I love being on TV, but no desire
In fact,
to be a millionaire.
I even know the answer to this $1 million question right here. But I'm gonna take the money I've earned so far and go home. I'm not even gonna guess.
Yeah, I feel 100,000 there makes me very content. I don't need that at all.
I guess what I mean to say, it was a sharp routine. I don't think anybody with knowledge of you guys, I don't think would do that trick and think they were gonna walk away with the trophy. That's what I was thinking, but maybe I'm not phrasing that correctly.
I was making fun of you. Maybe I didn't make that clear.
As long as he's confused, maybe we should do an ad spot.
Good idea. Good idea. Let's do an ad spot. I want to show y'all something. And when I say y'all,
The next guy's a fooler, just so you know. If you want to know, after the break, we're going right to a guy that fooled Penn.
This is going to be for the people that are listening. You're not going to get to see this beautiful thing. I'm going to show you a beautiful thing. Want to see a beautiful thing?
Yeah, I want to see it.
When do we want to see it? Now.
I heard about it.
Look at that. And you can
Wow.
see your reflection too.
That's a beautiful thing.
You know why you can see the reflection? Because this is made of glass.
Wow.
Tell everybody what it is.
It's a picture that says Penn Sunday School with a picture of me and stained glass behind it. And then the thing is also glass. It's a really beautiful, beautiful thing. It's not a piece of paper under glass. It is actually on the glass itself.
Yeah.
It is printed on the glass. And this episode is brought to you by Fracture, a name that you hope doesn't happen. Fracture turns your digital images into beautiful glass prints. That's right, they print your photo directly on glass, transforming your memories into handcrafted, frameless prints. I love this. Fracture helps you focus on the moments that matter most by turning your favorite memories into beautiful glass prints. Fracture prints directly on durable glass with soft edges for safe handling. That's right. You know it's soft edges for safe handling because I certainly did not handle it carefully, and I am not cut. Prints come in multiple sizes, no frame is required, and each print comes with a 100% happiness guarantee, and I'm happy.
It worked.
If for any reason you do not love your print, Fracture will make it right. Glass prints also make unique gifts for friends and family will never forget. Also a unique gift for a stranger who would never forget and be confused. It's a good thing to get, of your family, of your children, in this case, Penn Sunday School. It's a really nice thing. It is very different. I don't know if you can see this when you're not in person. It's very different from a picture behind glass to have it actually on the glass. It's a very aesthetically pleasing thing. Fracture prints look incredible. You really need to see them to believe it, that's for sure. Upload your photo at fractureme.com/Penn to print your photo on glass today. And we've got a special deal for our listeners when you visit fractureme.com/Penn and enter promo code
Penn.
You get 20% off your order. That's fractureme.com/Penn and promo code Penn to save 20% off your Fracture glass print. We thank Fracture so much for sponsoring this podcast. This is the first time they're sponsoring it, and we are very, very happy and hope they stay with us. Speaking of staying with us, we've got Blinkist, which has been with us for a while. With our ever-changing routines, there's never been a better time to learn something new. With thousands of options available, finding the best way to learn can be challenging. My recommendation is an app called Blinkist, which I listen to while practicing my juggling. Blinkist is unique and powerful. It works on your phone, your tablet, or your web browser. Blinkist gives you the best key takeaways and need-to-know information from over 3,000 nonfiction bestsellers in over 27 categories. Blinkist condenses them down into blinks, which you can read or listen to in just 15 minutes. My mom used to take 15-minute blinks and claimed she wasn't sleeping. And now Blinkist offers its members even more, including exclusive original podcasts from top authors and creative thinkers. You still get access to the entire Blinkist library with your membership, and now you can also dive deeper into full-length nonfiction audiobooks at a special discounted price. Over 14 million people, use Blinkist to deepen their knowledge in topics spanning self-improvement, personal growth, management, leadership, and mindfulness, happiness, and more. I love it because when I'm doing something, driving, juggling, something that's like that doesn't use that part of my brain, it really does fill it up. It's a great, great thing. I've listened to a lot of them. Popular bestsellers are The Barefoot Investor by Scott Pape, Everything is Fucked, a book about hope, Sapiens, which I love so much, A Brief History of Humankind, Becoming by Michelle Obama, which I think I will listen to soon, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, which I think Teller listened to, Outgrowing God by Richard Dawkins, Hacking Darwin by Jamie Metzel, The Future of Capitalism, The Threat, and The Way We Eat Now by B. Wilson. I love B. Wilson. I love her writing. Right now, Blinkist has a special office just for our audience. Go to Blinkist.com/Penn to start your free 7-day trial and get 25% off a Blinkist premium membership and up to 65% off audio books, yours to keep forever. That's Blinkist, spelled Blinkist, Blinkist.com/PENN. To get 25% off a premium membership and a 7-day free trial, Blinkist.com/Penn. Now, who was this rat bastard fooler?
Javier Botia, Spanish mentalist.
Of course, yeah. Oh, yeah. He was the Spanish mentalist.
Ba-dum. He crushed. He crushed in the room. He crushed in the TV. I mean, he lit up the theater when he performed. But he came out and he had 5 volunteers from the audience, threw a bunch of colored pieces of paper all over the fucking place, and then had some guy pick them up. Audience members selected them. He handed out envelopes. He let a bunch of envelopes hit the floor. They all switched up the envelopes and everything else, and all held onto a random envelope with a random color in it. Then he had a mystical painting he used. Instead of tarot cards, he used a mystical painting to have people pose in different positions, and then revealed the color of the envelope of each person in their position in the painting.
Color of within the envelope.
The color within the envelope. Yeah. And he was right with all 5 colors.
That's one of the real foolers, in that I was sure I knew how it was done.
Yeah.
And my way didn't work.
Right. Yeah.
When
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure I know it's done and my way would work, that bums me.
Right.
But he was perfect because I knew how it was done, and then it was explained to me why my way wouldn't work, and his way was one we hadn't thought of, and fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once you know how it's done, did you ever find out, Matt?
I did not.
You don't feel bad about being fooled.
Okay, good. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't just because of,
The way he did it was impossible.
even watching it all 3 times, I was like, woof. And I'll tell you what I love about it is that mentalism, at least stereotypically, can have like this kind of like almost academic quality to it, or and all the tension almost can come from, it's like a feeling of like sterility, like it's like this very precious focus on these very few objects that you can find in an office supply store, and lo and behold, it's exactly what we thought it was going to be. This thing was literally colorful and made a mess. I mean, just took up the whole stage and
goofy.
Yeah.
Goofy is really important.
Yeah. And just was really played so big, and it was so goofy and fun, and it was just fantastic, and still impossible. It was really, really great.
He was good. The Spanish Mentalist.
Ba-da-dum. Next we had BS Ready.
Yes.
India. No. BS Ready.
Yes.
No, I mean, you certainly are BS Ready, that's for sure. But our first contestant from India.
Was it really?
Yes.
Wow.
And that actually ended up being important. It didn't necessarily make it clear on air, and it's worth noting here. There's not a lot of magic in India because most magic is done by con artists. Most magic is done by medical con artists, pretending to heal the sick and that kind of stuff. And
we were over there. They're also, magicians are very lower class.
Yeah.
They were living in Shadapur, which was a slum with untouchables.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's part of their caste system. I mean, we're not saying they were just awful people. They're put in a lower class by the society.
Right.
Not necessarily.
Well, I would think that about... We're not saying that outside of India, if you're lower class, you're inferior.
Okay. All right.
It's the system that we don't approve of, but go on.
Although some magicians in America. No, so so he loved David Copperfield. And I couldn't tell whether he was holding on to this bit so truly because the producers encouraged him to, because that's what his package was about, and he had a language barrier, or whether he just really was like, I don't care about Penn and Teller, I love David Copperfield. But even trying to do a pre-interview, he showed me like 20 pictures of him with Copperfield, but it's just the same moment as him at a meet and greet, but I just watched 20 pictures of it. But he, because of India, just, his station in India, he is a self-taught illusionist off of bootleg tapes.
Yes, and I will also tell you that although it probably was edited for air, he was pugnacious.
Yeah, yes, I think it was edited for air. And here's the thing: he did as a contestant, which I would love if more did. But I was, you do like again, you go through the whole questionnaire. One of the questionnaires is, "Do you think you're going to fool Penn and Teller?" And he was like, "Oh yes, they've never seen anything like this." Oh, he was like, "For sure." Like walking there, like, "I'm going to fool the shit out of them."
Yes.
So
I don't know if you saw his appearance on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Yeah. He really wanted to be a millionaire.
Yeah, he really wanted to be a millionaire. Big time. So also to set up his illusion, he did the chains through the body thing. And in rehearsals, he was not doing a fantastic job communicating with our stagehands, who continued to just jerk him around in chains while he kind of yelled at them. And it was really awkward and hilarious to maybe just me, but it was really fun to be around.
He had the problem that people have when they invent something that they don't think someone else could have ever invented it beforehand.
Right.
So he, I think, did invent that. It's just others had invented that same method before.
Yes. Yeah.
And we knew it. I thought I invented masturbation. I did. I thought I had discovered it and invented it, and it was going to be a big deal for me. And then, lo and behold, other people knew about it.
And didn't really appreciate the demo.
Some of the boys,
which made your disqualification from the science fair incredibly unfair.
Gather round.
all you need to know about Penn and Teller is that I thought I invented masturbation, and Teller thought he'd hurt himself. He thought he'd done permanent damage and injured himself. I thought I invented it. And that's all you need to know. That gives you all the information you need to know about how Penn and Teller work.
So the other, worth noting is that he, with his success, he started magic school, and the magic school is not just like a performance magic school, but it's meant to expose con artists and stuff like that back in India, which I think is pretty cool.
We liked everything about this guy, but we can't like a guy and have him fool us because we like him.
Right. Exactly.
We get accused of that all the time, and it's not true.
No.
As a matter of fact, the people that we've liked the most, the top 4 or 5 that we've liked the most, have not fooled us.
Right.
My closest friend from Fool Us is Piff.
Yes.
He did not fool us.
No.
Although he's doing well on the TBS thing.
Yeah. And if you're watching the live broadcast, or you get this when this airs Sunday night, should Piff win, this is the last time to vote for him. This is the only time. If he wins this round, then he goes to the next round. The next round isn't a public vote. So this is the only time to vote for Piff. And
so vote for Piff. I also think tonight you're going to see me dressed as a cowboy, or is that already aired?
No, that would be tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, be ready, because I look hunky as a cowboy.
Oh, man.
I look like every sophomore 80s country album. Maybe early 90s.
It's beautifully rugged, I think.
I will tell you that I was made for that look. I think Cool Rockin' Daddy is, I look like I belong there.
You do. You look like you're oil wealthy in that.
Cowboy hat and a duster. And windswept with the Nevada wildness behind me.
Yeah.
It's a good look for me. You know Carissa Hendricks, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lucy Darling.
Yeah. She's doing a podcast or a documentary. Who can tell whatever the fuck things are today?
She's creating media content.
Yes. About wardrobe and costuming in magic.
Ah.
So she did an interview with us about our suits and about the decision that went into that. And I think I surprised her by saying that at least 2 or 3 times a year, Teller and I bring up different costuming ideas for Penn and Teller.
Really?
And they've originally, we did I'm a Little Teapot, short and stout, where Teller levitates and pours tea out his arm.
Yeah.
I originally wanted that in Sgt. Pepper silk outfits. The Beatles are wearing in Sgt. Pepper's?
Yeah.
I wanted the pink and aquamarine outfits. I wanted us to change into that. That fell by the wayside.
Who says no then if you guys talk about costumes?
We talk about it. We love it. We lay it out. We plan it. And then as it gets down to the wire, there's problem with costume changing during the show.
Right.
Problems with practicality. But one thing I think we'll do, and this is something that would look good on older men, we want to wear nudie suits or something. Now, you know what a nudie suit is?
I don't. I think I'm picturing like a skin-colored leotard.
The blue screen?
No. Do you know what a nudie suit is, Reddy?
No.
Okay, nudie is not related to the word nude.
Boo.
Or naked. Nudie is a costume.
Steve Nudie, invented by Steve Nudie.
It is. Yeah, that's correct. I don't know his first name, but it is created by, it's a costume designer and tailor in Nashville. If you go to Nashville now, although Nudie is dead, there is a nudie bar, which includes a lot of disappointed tourists. The nudie suits are, can you bring to mind Porter Wagner?
I don't know who that is, but
You don't know who Porter Wagner is?
no.
Are any of you guys Americans?
I don't.
Dolly Parton's husband.
Well,
Okay.
briefly, kinda, but she wrote "I Will Always Love You."
Oh,
Dolly
I know where
Parton
you
wrote it as a way to get out of her contract
with him.
Okay.
with him.
Yeah.
But if you look up Porter Wagner, you will see a picture of Porter Wagner, and I can pretty much guarantee he's wearing one of them nudie suits.
he is wearing a nudie suit.
Yeah, it is a lot of rhinestones. Where'd everybody go? Oh, there he
There
is.
you
It's a circus.
There
Lot of circus.
is that Nudie with is that Nudie himself?
I think so.
Yeah. It is a
Nudie and Hank Snow.
Nudie and Hank Snow, and they are very, very, very colorful. And I've always wanted a special matching magic nudie suits that have like decks of cards and dice and rabbits coming out of a hat, all in rhinestones all over them. And mark my words, we will find a time when a nudie suit is the right thing.
Oh man, that's pretty great. That's really great.
Yeah. And, Rodeo Drive, which has nothing to do with rodeo,
Oh man, this is a very confusing conversation.
Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills had for a while a nudie suit store.
Oh neat. But now it's only the one in Nashville?
I think there's a bar in Nashville. I don't think they even sell the suits anymore. So we would be getting a knockoff nudie suit because nudie is dead as a hammer.
Aha.
But I would like to think that you will see Penn and Teller in nudie suits.
That's great. Is so far the inspiration just to wear the suits, or do you have a trick that you're working on that involves using those suits?
We do not have a trick yet, but it comes up. We used to come up that Teller wanted us in Western garb for a trick. And then I changed it to nudie suits,
Okay.
which is not really Western garb. You don't picture a cowpoke riding into town wearing a nudie suit.
No.
It's a little more Gunther Gable Williams.
Yeah. But Porter Wagner, and I'm really surprised, Porter Wagner's albums in the 60s, he did some concept albums, very similar to the concept of Frank Sinatra. Let's do an album where I get drunk and miss the woman. Porter Wagner, let's do an album where I get drunk and miss the woman. Jethro Tull, let's do an album about a homeless guy who's a pedophile. Okay. So that's country western, that's rock and roll.
You know, if Porter Wagner wasn't a timely enough reference for you, Gunther Gable Williams will probably do.
I'm leaving this podcast with homework is what's happening.
Who is closest to wearing nudie suits now? I guess nobody wears anything close to that, right? Because all your country western guys are all
Teeterboard acts would wear those pants.
yeah. Well, let's get drunk and talk about a woman leaving me, and then let's do it about a blind guy playing pinball. Concept albums and rock and roll take it to a different place. In jazz and in country, it's how about I get drunk, talk about a woman leaving me,
Yeah.
which Porter Wagner did a lot.
Oh, I bet.
But Porter Wagner and his backup band. Now you don't know Porter Wagner, but do you know what his backup band would be called, Matt Donnelly?
The Wagoneers?
I'm going to give you full credit on that.
Okay.
Full credit. It's the Wagon Masters.
Oh, I was so
But
close.
It's full credit. Full credit. Full credit.
All right, I'll take full credit.
Wagoneers might even be better.
Oh, it's a good day.
Yeah. But if you go to, remember there was a network called RFD or something that played all the country things? For a while in the early 21st century, there was a cable channel that played like Porter Wagner shows all the time. And they were amazingly great. You know, what's his name? Goober from Mayberry RFD would come on.
Yeah.
And all those, what's your name? With the price tag, Minnie Pearl.
Yeah.
Girl, yeah.
And all these guys would come on and they'd interview crazy people like Roger Miller. You know, Roger Miller drunk off his ass, being interviewed by Porter Wagner drunk off his ass with neither of them having any idea what they're talking about.
And then Jim Neighbors singing in between them.
Yeah.
Everything that you're talking about, I only know from the podcast Cocaine and Rhinestones, which is hosted
Right.
by...
Well, Cocaine and Rhinestones, the Rhinestones referring to nudie suits, you idiot.
You're calling me an idiot for connecting the dots. You can't,
Yes.
if you knew I listened to Cocaine and Rhinestones combat before then, that insult is valid. But I'm the one who's letting you know.
But you know, when Glenn Campbell sings like a rhinestone cowboy,
Yeah.
one of my favorite songs, he's singing about wearing a nudie suit. And in the video of Rhinestone Cowboy, which I have no shame in saying I've watched multiple times, he starts out in regular, what a cowboy would call street clothes, ranch clothes.
Yeah.
And then when he comes into the Star Spangled Rodeo, he's wearing a nudie suit.
Yeah. There's a Springsteen version of Rhinestone Cowboy floating around right now.
Is there really?
Yeah.
He sings Rhinestone Cowboy?
Yeah, it's not great.
Oh.
It's not my favorite cover of him covering. I know.
How bad must it be that you...
I'm a mega
are
fan,
swooning?
so no, I mean I'm snottier about it. Really, I think is what it is.
But he hasn't got like a rhinestone dude on the shore.
Exactly, yeah, like a sleeveless T-shirt. I'm waiting for the sun to come up over the beach. It's not really. It's really. I mean, he's done his best to embrace the Western thing, but that level of
He even does. We've argued about this. He even does the fake accent, which you say is not a fake accent.
I know because it's not actually regional to anything. It's just he's just let his mouth get weird. That happens to all of us.
He would sometimes talk in a Southern accent.
Yeah, yeah. Do you hate
He's
Madonna?
from New Jersey. Well, Madonna, yeah. And then, of course, Cary Grant. And then, of course, the punchline is Bob Dylan
Yeah.
with his heavy Minnesota accent. Ugh.
Well, you don't.
I mean, you hear Al Franken go, ooh, and I was working with Tom Davis. No, that's not a Minnesota accent.
Well, you don't know sports, but Joe Namath is probably the biggest guilty party of that.
More than Bob Dylan? More than Cary Grant?
He speaks with a Southern accent, and he went to Alabama for 2 years. And he's not from the South at all. He spoke with a Southern accent his whole life.
Where's he from?
I'm trying to remember where he's from. For the sake of this podcast, let's just say New Jersey.
San Francisco, as far as I know.
I don't know.
Well, now we're talking, because now we've got, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Born on the Bayou. You know what bayou they were born on?
What bayou?
Oakland.
Great Lake.
Oakland. The Oakland Bayou.
The Oakland Bayou.
And ZZ Top. Where is Billy Gibbons from?
Houston?
Houston? Where's Billy Gibbons from, Ready?
Oh, no.
Matt?
Uh,
Billy Gibbons, Texas, right?
Texas. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. That's
Yeah.
my guess.
Beverly Hills. His father composed soundtracks
Well, that's what's
for
fascinating.
movies.
California musicians in general, right? Like they all end up adopting other places and other things. But it's kind of like you have to, right? 'Cause you can't be like, from where they make all music, I'm making music. Like that's not really gonna, like you have to find a muse somewhere outside you, right?
Randy Newman.
Yeah.
Randy Newman, Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
And Tom Waits. What did Tom Waits' parents do?
My guess would be like make burgers at a diner or like clean buses or something.
High school teachers.
Oh.
High school English teachers. When I was growing up, going through the halls of my father's school.
I mean, if I didn't do homework, that's different than you not doing homework.
We were studying. Who else was on Fool?
Me and my Ticonderoga number 2 pencil. Joe Namath is from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Next up was a gentleman named Chad Allen, who brought you guys up to the table and had Allison keep hands over his eyes as he formed a signed card stabbed out of a paper bag routine. And the punchline on this was not necessarily the card trick, but that he is indeed blind and had been blind the entire time.
It would have been more impressive if he blinded himself during the trick. But blind the entire time is true. There is also, if you watch carefully, there is proof that I'm the world's biggest asshole during that bit. You have evidence before we have proof.
Hold on, let me make sure that people making that documentary are paying attention right now. Hold on.
Can you guess what it is?
You suspected he was blind during the trick, yes?
Yes, but what did I do?
Did you wave your hand in front of his face?
Just
Pretend to punch him? Pretend to punch him?
Just as bad. Just as bad as both of those. When we were all done with the trick and he was dismissing us,
Yeah.
quietly, without saying a word, I held my hand up to shake it while his face was turned toward me. His hand did not come up. We went, sat down. I said to tell him, motherfucker's blind. Teller said, well, I thought he might be. I said, he is. And I told him I did that. And Teller said, you laid a trap for a blind guy?
Here's the question. Did your people edit that out?
I don't know.
I believe so. I didn't notice it. I didn't see it on air. I didn't see it happen when you filmed either. Yeah. I mean, it was obvious that you knew when you started talking to him about it, and then he had handed a note to Allison during the interview. I think when she was catching on, and it's supposed to be, I guess, a big reveal. What's interesting to me is I when it was happening, I was like, this is the most AGT Fools has ever gotten.
Yeah.
This is the most America's Got Talent move we've ever done, I think, on the show. Because it was a fun card trick. It was great, but all the attention was on this kind of reveal. But you guys aren't AGT people. You don't have your Howie Mandel speech in your back pocket for trying to make all of America cry while you talk to somebody. He's got like 8 of those.
We actually like the fact that people are skilled, and we do not care as part of the show about relatives of theirs that have cancer. As a matter of fact, I have a good friend who was on America's Got Talent and got to the finals. And while he was in the finals, his mother was dying of brain cancer. And he was going from his rehearsals to visit his mother with brain cancer. And they said, we'd like to do a package on your mother dying of brain cancer and wanted to see you win AGT. And he said, fuck you.
Yeah.
That will not happen. I will do the best performances I can. And my mother is very much hoping I win and she gets to see it. But that is not part of me winning. It's my skill. And I'm being very, very careful to not even say what the person's skill was.
Right.
Or what he performed or anything like that, because that would then be negating his whole, I would be then giving up his whole integrity. So
I can't guess Terry Fader?
No, don't guess. Now, how do I react to that?
I'm a dick. I'm sorry. Sorry, you proceeded so cautiously. I had to take one shot.
Anyway, what was our trick on Fool Us?
You did watermelon.
Oh yeah. We got a wonderful note from Hondro, because Hondro was in Vegas. We've been doing that, we were doing that when magicians came into town. When we were rehearsing, we'd bring them into rehearsal.
Yeah.
And there is a moment in Watermelon that is all Hondro.
Yeah.
All Hondro. He gave us the moment. And I think it doesn't help the concept, but it sells the trick. It makes the trick just killer.
Yeah.
And that was all Hondro's idea. We got a very nice note from him saying how well it went. And that allowed us to make another note back going, boy, wasn't your moment great? I love Watermelon.
Yeah.
And I love how I got the idea of Watermelon, too. There is a guy, I guess I don't need to.
Terry Fader.
Yeah. Damn it, you beat me.
Randy Wolf. is a surgeon in Houston, Dallas, Houston,
Hollywood.
who's also a magician. And he has developed the wolf technique, which is named after him, not the animal, for heart surgery. And he invited me in to see him do laparoscopic surgery. Where he collapses a lung and goes in and tinkers around with the electricity of the heart.
What he does is he circles around behind and nips at your ankles first.
Pulls out your heart and shakes it really hard in his mouth.
Can only operate when there's a full moon.
He got permission from the family and from the patient for me to be in there. I need to add that because he's not irresponsible.
Right.
And I was in watching the surgery. And then he allowed me to go in with the family to tell them that the surgery had gone spectacularly. And he assured me that if it hadn't gone well, I wouldn't have had to go into the room. The bad news is your loved one died.
Yeah.
The good news was we have a celebrity to tell you that. Celebrity death notice.
On A&E.
Yeah, that'll be a show coming up where we've got Springsteen riding with some New Jersey State Troopers. A high school couple at their dance was just killed in a traffic accident driving drunk. Watch how they react when Bruce Springsteen tells them that their son is dead. Coming up on Celebrity Death Announcement. And I loved the way it looked in the laparoscopic cameras. And I said, maybe if we went inside a watermelon, it would look like this. It would look like a colonoscopy. And I will tell you, it was one of the 3 times in our career that my vision of how something was going to look and how it looked were exactly the same.
Oh, wow.
It was just fabulous. I'm very, very proud of watermelon. And the trick went very well. And I think it's a fooler. And I think it's also interesting and funny. I'm very proud of the watermelon.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's super neat. It's really fascinating. And that how does the camera, is the camera have a light on it? How do you see inside the watermelon when you're going through with the camera?
It's the same as laparoscopic surgery. The camera's right on the light.
Oh, okay.
That's how when they go up your asshole with it, they can see up in there. It's not because light's coming out of your ass, Matt.
Oh, man. Today, it's now a tough day.
But I will tell you right now, we've covered Fool Us. I got a lot of other stuff coming up. So that was Penn Sunday School.
That was Penn Sunday School.
Cha-cha-cha.
And to our listening,
You become
all nature sang and
naked in a nudie suit. Yeah, the first time I heard nudie suit, I thought it meant flesh-colored body stocking too.
All right.
But it's so much better. You know we love you.
I was like, I always thought I could pull off cowboy boots, and my wife always thought I could not. So I don't know what I mean.